delight this is for us to welcome to our desk a Hall of Famer and one of the all-time great players.
The glove!
It is the glove, Gary Payton. And so let's just start as generally as we can here and then work our way more specifically. The playoffs have begun now. We're a few games in. What has caught your eye? What is sticking out to you early in this NBA postseason?
I think the New Orleans Pelicans. I think what they're doing against the Portland Trail Blazers is just a good thing. I think we're going losing on Boogie Cousins, and then the way AD is playing. I've always said AD could be the second best basketball player in the NBA right now. And I think they're doing a great job to go into Portland and steal two. That's a big thing, and they're playing very, very well right now.
Can we talk this Bucks Celtics thing for a second? Because the Terry Rozier and Eric Bledsoe thing is amazing. For those of you who don't know, Terry Rozier has been owning Eric Bledsoe in the first two games. He's got 46 points. Bledsoe's got 21. The killer crossover that you said he literally undressed him. He accidentally called the dude Drew, and this was the response Bledsoe had last night. Roll that.
Terry Rozier's gotten off to a strong start to the series, no turnovers in 78 minutes. How personally do you take that matchup?
Who?
Terry Rozier.
I don't even know who that is.
Okay, so we don't know if we agree on this. If you are being embarrassed by your opponent, are you still allowed to talk trash like that?
Yeah, you are.
I tried to tell him, G.
Yeah, you are.
I don't understand.
Well, because you don't understand, because it's only two games. Okay, he's having two great games. Okay, that's great. You know, the young kid Rozier is pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Bledsoe has to just step his game up. He has two games. Now he's going back to Milwaukee. Step his game up. Yeah, you can't let a kid like that get into your head. Yeah, he's outplayed you two games. Okay, it is what it is. You're the veteran. You come back in the next two games at your place, and you outplay him.
So I mean, your name is Gary Payton, and you're one of the all-time great players. But so if one of the other players you're playing against accidentally called you Walter or something like that, like Walter Payton, which is what he did, would you have had a few words?
I'll go at him, but I'll go back at him, and because he knows my name. He's been knowing my name for a long period of time, you know. So he's just, you know, or it might have been a mistake. It doesn't matter, but. I like what Bledsoe said. He said, "Who is that?" I don't know who he is neither. So you keep the game going. It's going to be a heated thing, and I think Bledsoe is going to go at him. I think so.
I think the disappointing part, though, is that Rozier was then asked, obviously, immediately, because everyone's like, oh, my God, hear what he said? And he was like, I'm not going to get caught up in that. So I don't know if it's in him to engage in this.
I appreciate the elder statesman on this
shocked.
set.
I'm
This
shocked.
gentleman didn't talk trash, okay? He was hostile and volatile when he talked. I felt like I was in an alley somewhere and it was 1 a.m.
I love it so much.
Like, this gentleman really went at it. So when you see, like, these guys doing a lot of fraternizing before the game, during games, putting their jerseys up, talking to the opponents, what does that make you feel when you watched it as one of the all-time greats?
Jay, you know I don't like that. You know, I don't like to be friends with anybody. It's not that type of situation, because what you're doing is you're trying to get where I'm at. You know, if you're number one, you trying to get number one point guard. When I went against John Stockton, who I idolized a lot, and I didn't never tell him. I never told him when I was playing him that I idolize you and I'm going after your spot. You're the number one point guard, and now I'm going after you. I'm trying to get you. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to go eat dinner with you. I'm not doing none of that. We're not going to have the wives over or none of that, you know. So we're not doing that. I don't really like that. You can be friends, you know, be friends or when y'all go to dinner or something, and then that's it. But on the basketball court, I have no friends. Even my mom was playing against me. She was my enemy. Yeah.
So since you went to the next question, who do you feel like is the best guard in the game?
Right now, you know, that's a tough one, because you know, with Harding and I'm really a big fan of Westbrook. You know, the things that he does and how they play. We got a couple of great basketball guards. You know, the year that Damian Lillard had. But if you're gonna say the best guard right now, who's gonna get the MVP is Harden. I think he's gonna get it. I think he's did a great job with Houston. They won 64, 65 games. And he's playing very, very well. And he done did it 2 years in a row. I can't say that Westbrook did the same thing. He averaged triple-double 2 years in a row. It's the same thing. But right now, I think Harding would hands down.
We both fell in love with the sport during your era of playing, so we have to go back there. Who's the toughest cover? You were the best defensive player in the league of your era. Who was the toughest cover for you?
Everybody always hates me because of this, and I just got through talking about him. It's John Stockton for me. You know, people always say, okay, Michael Jordan, he did this and that and that. But I always tell them that if you got a guy who has the ball almost 90% of the time, and you're guarding him off from one end to the 94 feet, and he's coming off pick and rolls, he's throwing it, he's back picking you and stuff, and then we call him dirty. No, we were just dumb. because we had video on him. You know, we knew he's going to set a pick. We knew that what Utah Jazz was running. So why couldn't we understand that? And then I figured it out after a while. I stopped letting him pick me. I stopped being the dummy with the head. I started putting my head on the swivel. I started posting him up. I knew he was going to fall down if I bagged in. So I stopped facing him. I started facing him up. So I think he was the guy that I really looked up to as a guard, because he was a point guard, and that's what I looked up to, but I never told him.
Thank you for giving Stockton props. He gets so forgotten as we talk about great players. He scored the ball. He led the league in assists. He's one of the all-time leaders in steals, which I know you appreciate too.
Well, Jalen, he went to the Hall of Fame averaging 12 and 12. That's it, you know. And then he played 20 years. People don't get that, and what they don't understand is just this guy was gutsy. He wasn't athletic as us, and he did it the right way. You know, he only played 34 minutes. He came in. If a guy shoots 10 times and make 8, if he has 15 assists, he has 7 rebounds, then he has 4 steals, and then he goes 9 for 10 from the free throw line. How can you stop that? You know, and being consistent the way he was.
It's such a delight to have you here.
3
We
hours
could
of
talk
this.
forever. Thank you, Satipi. Great to see you.
Thank you guys very much.
Gary Payton. And we got great basketball.